I'm Tony Fountain and welcome to our world. Today's video recording is a little bit different in I've got my two vendors here of a property, beautiful property, Cuckoo's Rest at Robertson, that I've just sold. As you can see from the walls here, beautiful pine lined inside, western red cedar outside. So I've got my two vendors, Wendy and Pat, and the reason for the interview came out of a comment that Pat made after we'd sold the property, which I found fascinating. So I'll bring him back to that shortly, but just to give you an overview of the history with the sale, I came out and I did a presentation to Pat and Wendy. I don't think they'd been thinking auction. Anyway, they trusted me. We went with auction. We had 32 people through the open house program. We ran that twice a week. Come auction night, we didn't have anyone bid at the night. We had a couple of people who weren't in a position. We had a vendor bid at $300,000. Couple of opens after that, nothing much happened, and then we listed it on the internet and in our advertising as offers over $300,000 would be considered, and about within 10 days we ended up at $355,000, which ended up being the sale price. So that's the background to it. The comment that was made by Pat was, as I said, triggered this off, was he was a little bit amazed when we had the vendor bid. So let's go back to the start and your thoughts or comments on the whole process from when we started.
I knew little actually of auction and wasn't sure whether that was the way to go with it, but that we had confidence that Tony knew what he was doing and we thought we'd go that way anyway. I guess my concern, if anything, was the fact that it was listed at a low price to start with, and I'm thinking that the first bid will probably come in at $5,000 over it, and that'll be
This is the offers over $300,000 considered.
Yes, offers over $300,000, and as one guy actually said to me, he said, so that means that if I offered $300,005, then that'd probably be considered. And I said, yes, it probably wouldn't be accepted though. But that I could see there was method in Tony's madness in that at a lower price it was going to attract a lot more people to come and have a look at the place, and I think that was the idea of it. The more people that we got in, the greater opportunity we would have to sell it at a higher price. It's much better for people to come and have a look at it than stay at home and not bother because they don't know what the starting price might be.
Right. How did you find the system, Wen?
I found it exactly the same. I was very confused, I suppose the word would be, after the auction was finished, and that the price was, offers over $300,000. I thought, oh wow, what's going to happen here? But I kept telling myself all the time that, well, Tony is in the business. He's been in the business for a long time, and I've really got to put my faith in him because I don't know anything about it myself at all.
You've only got about half an hour to spend giving me ads. It's good.
That's right. So that's it, and we ran with it and questioned Tony a couple of times, and he reassured us. And after that, 10 days later, we had a sale, and we were pretty chuffed about it. We were really, really pleased that we had taken Tony's advice. And
good. No, like I've got to say, I mean, you've been terrific to work with through the campaign, and it does make a lot of difference. I mean, sometimes you get vendors who don't quite have the attitude that you both had during that campaign. But once again, it comes back to this pricing thing and being able to get up. And as I said right at the start, eventually we get to a point where that's as good as it's going to get, and that's when you've got to make the decision, which you made, and you're now moving on. So
just to interrupt Tony there a minute, is that I think that our biggest consideration was that we sold the place. That was the most important thing to us. If we were going to lose any money in the market, then we were prepared to do that in order to really get rid of this place, because we were interested to downsize anyway, and we probably would have been looking at life through rose-coloured glasses if we expected a high price in this degenerating economic climate, which was only going to get worse in my view, and I thought that we could very well get caught hanging on to this place without being able to get rid of it.
Because you, for benefit of you watching, they've got the nautical bug, these two. I lived on a yacht for 5 years, and their aim is to be doing likewise on the boat and sailing for ports somewhere out there. So I wish you all the very best for that. If you're going up the coast, make sure you call in at Hexham Island, north of Glat, most magnificent little anchorage. Yeah. Really my favourite island of all the 5 years I cruised on. So thank you very much for your support. Wish you all the very best for the future. And Jasper going with you?
We don't know what's happening with Jasper. I think Wendy's got the idea she might like to leave the cats with Pete, who's the new owner of the place.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Have to see whether or not
Jasper's the cat. He's not known as social. Yeah. He wanders around the place and keeps an eye on it. So thank you very much for that, and
thank you,
all the very best for the future.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Okay, and thank you for calling. See you soon.